Okay. I'm a little hard of hearing, so Jeannie's let me interprets for me. I do. I have a bachelor's in biology and a master's in entomology.
Yeah, no, it happened, but it was a friend of mine. Oh, yeah.
So, are you all from the Madison area?
We're from Madison.
We're from Middleton.
Madison.
Yeah.
I'm from Milwaukee.
Oh, you're from Milwaukee. I was going to ask if you're all going down.
We should have carpool.
Yeah.
Best friends from here on out. Tom?
Poets, what music are you listening to? Musicians, what are you reading?
Ooh, good question.
Or
I'm kind of a
or what would you recommend listening to, and what would you recommend reading?
Well, this is Bonk related, because last month at Bonk there was a really, really good jazz trio. And after that, since then I've been listening to a lot of John Coltrane and Thelonious Monk.
Nice.
I just got done reading Amy Poehler's biography. It was witty, charismatic, full of life, much as the comedian herself. So if you're looking like for something to make you feel uplifted and like you want to start again, read her biography. Or keep going.
I am reading a book called In the Spirit of Crazy Horse, and it was a recommendation from my favorite musician and activist and poet, and her name is Buffy St. Marie, and I just went to go see her in Nebraska perform, and she's amazing. If you haven't heard of her, you should look her up. She's, I think, in her 70s now, and she rocks so hard. She's a huge role model, and yeah, she's amazing.
I don't listen to as much music as I'd like to lately because of my ear. I don't know. I used to listen to a lot. I like old folk. I like jazz. I like, I don't know, a lot of stuff. I like you guys. My daughter my stepdaughter gave me a CD for Father's Day, which I haven't listened to yet, but I probably should. It was the best of the violent femmes, which I will get to listen to one of these days.
The drummer's from Racine, in case you didn't know that, Victor De Lorenzo.
Me, I can't ever remember the names of the books that I'm reading. I can't read. I read a lot of poetry, but yeah, music, I don't know, I got this really cool Mary Chapin Carpenter CD that I put on repeat in the car all the time, and it drives me crazy, but it's a really recent one. It's like Roses.
It's really good, just not.
It's beautiful. I play it all the time. Other than that, I'm kind of a folkie, and we have a friend who plays bluegrass, and we listen to him a lot. So.
Thank you. Simon?
Question for Lisa. Did you, how did you start making music? Was it like you were friends first and then you kind of decided to do music, or were you like kind of started doing music and you became friends along the way?
Well, we originally met working at an Italian restaurant in Freeport, Illinois, which is where we're both from. And we would freestyle rap about anything back and forth toward one another because it was so mundane and we needed to pass the time. So then I remembered Eve from high school. She's a few years older than me. I'm quite a bit older. I'm trying to be polite here. So Eve played the violin and I played the cello in orchestra, and we both knew that about each other, and I was in a band with my brother kind of at the time, and so we decided to just like try and play music, and it worked. And then as that kept growing, we kept being better friends.
Yeah, I never would be singing or really making music without Melissa. She convinced me that I could do it, so she pulled it out of me.
And then Amy Poehler convinced me that I could do it.
Other questions? Going once. Oh, Amanda?
Seesaw, are you guys in Sonic?
Our current licensing deal does not allow for us to be on. We're working on it. We have a Bandcamp though that you can stream it, our whole album on. So.
Lina, did you have a question?
Yeah, I don't know, this is kind of really way out there. I'm reading a book by, what's his name, Jackson, that coach for the Bulls, Phil Jackson, and he's used meditation and stuff like that with his team. And so I thought that Danny would meditate.
I started running about 2 weeks ago, training for my first 5K. Well, don't clap too hard. I've just gotten to be able to run a mile, so I have a long way to go. But I do go on walks, and I feel like a lot of my poetry comes from walks.
Yeah, I don't formally meditate, but I informally meditate. I always have a lot of silence, like silence and walks. So yeah, you definitely need it.
So you feel like your work is
Yeah, from the silence, definitely.
You're not in formal wear when you do it, though. You just show up in like gym shorts.
I don't wear yoga pants or like, yeah. I just do whatever.
I have gone through a couple of meditation courses, where it's really a lot easier to do it when you're sitting in a group of 10 or 15 people and you're paying for it. I mean, I think it's something that's really beneficial, but I found it hard to do on my own. Jeannie does, I think her writing is her meditation, because sometimes it's like, but which is great. Jeannie, yeah.
Any other questions? I don't remember your name.
Eva.
Eva.
For the poets, how would you guys come up with the poetry? Do you do a lot of editing, or is it just like right on the page?
She said, how do you guys, for the poets, how do you come up with what you write? And do you do a lot of editing, or does it just fall right out for you?
No one knows where poetry comes from. No, I do. Sometimes it's things that happen, but sometimes, like lately, I've been reading the dictionary, and it just leads to what you don't know where you're going to go. So it comes from all over the place.
Are you a writer?
That's
Yeah.
a yes. That's a yes.
Only a writer who refuses to call herself a writer would ask that question. You have to read a lot. You have to journal a lot. You have to write down notes so you remember stuff so you can write about it later. You have to set a schedule. You probably know all of this, right?
That's all stuff that I don't do.
I just read Stephen King's memoir called On Writing, and he describes writing stories as finding a fossil. You find the corner of the fossil and you have to keep like chipping away at it and brushing away at it. So that's a good way to think about it, because then it's already there. You just have to do the editing and the carving around it.
Oh, one more from Tom.
Have you been able to figure out the plot in the dictionary?
That's a deep plot. I just make up the storylines.
Spoiler alert, Z did it. All right. All right, this is the very last question from Courtney.
Yeah, this is for Seesaw. Just being in a band with just two people, what are the challenges of that?
Right on.
One of the challenges that I've found is with two people, you have difficulty replicating a full sound. So as you saw, I played like 5 things at one time to try and do all of the things that we wish we had with the backup band if we wanted that, but we've been able to really work hard and kind of think of different ways to set things up to make that process more available.
And I would say, from someone who's not taking on these responsibilities, like the marketing aspect and our online presence is almost like a full-time job aside from the band. So Melissa has taken almost 99% of that on, which I'm really grateful for. Also, like knowing about the sound and how to make yourself sound good in the absence of maybe technical things that we would need. Melissa also fills those shoes, so we're really lucky as a band that even though there's only 2 of us, she's an expert in a lot of those things, and then I can just look really good.
And she's good at doing that, everybody.
Well, thank you guys all so much. Wait. We don't want to give it to them too easy. What we're going to do now is buy a bunch of things from over here, and then what do we do right after that? Set up tables. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. Let's give one more huge round of applause.